Hello, welcome to The Wandering Drew. I am Drew. Thank you so much for joining me, and just thought I'd shoot a quick little video about what's going on and what I'm planning on doing. By now, you hopefully have been able to watch my videos on my hike up to Springer Mountain and the Appalachian Trail approach trail, as well as my visit to Jasper and the Mount Oglethorpe Monument, which my daughter described to my son when asked why we came here. She explained that Daddy brought us to see a stick in the ground. So, gotta love those kids. I guess they don't see the trips and the journey quite like I do, or some of us do, but that's okay. So as I mentioned, I hope you've seen those videos and I hope you enjoyed them. But I also want to discuss my plans for an upcoming hike, which I'm in the planning process right now. I've made some reservations, I've managed to rent a car, and I've already gotten some time off of work in order to do this. And it's going to be revisiting a trail that I already have attempted but been unsuccessful at. So in October, I'm hoping to set foot back on the Pinhoti Trail in Alabama and walk from Flag Mountain to Cave Springs, Georgia. And I'm going to do pretty much what I did the last time, except I'm hoping to try and control myself for the first day or two at least and reduce my mileage. Instead of aiming for 15 miles a day, I'm going to probably hope to do 10 to 12 miles for the first day or two, see how I'm doing, see how the knee and the ankle are feeling, and then go from there. I think I'm not going to be too successful at that. It's very hard for me to slow down and not do the distance when I see there's daylight left to do. But I think it's necessary. I had really hoped to train more for this trip. I planned on doing a lot more training than I did. Unfortunately, I've done a couple of hikes, practice hikes, walks around the neighborhood, or using a treadmill with a little bit of incline, but really not enough. I feel like I'm coming right off the couch on this one, so it's going to be even more important for me to keep that mileage low for the first couple of days and give my body a chance to acclimate to the basically terrain and hiking and the rigors of the trail day after day. My plan hasn't changed too much from what I was going to do before, except that I am planning on probably taking a little less, downsizing my pack a little bit, and I'm also hoping that I will carry less food, and I'm going to plan on a resupply in Heflin, which is about mile marker 111 or so. I think I can do that in about 8 days, even if keeping my mileage low, and that will allow me to probably drop about 5 or 6 pounds, because last time I had enough food for about 14 days in my pack, and that was way too heavy. So that'll help me reduce it a little bit. It'll also give me a little flexibility if I want to carry a little bit more water. There are a couple of places where water is a little more scarce and you have a longer trek with it. So if I have to up my water and carry an extra liter or so, it's an extra 2-3 pounds. If I go up, then I'll be able to do that without really overloading myself. I'm going to go back to my lighter pack. I'm going to carry less clothing probably, and I'm in the process of getting my gear together now, and I'm planning on doing another gear video with my gear selections and why I chose them and a couple of changes that I made. I just have to go through. I started just piling stuff up. I'm going to hopefully load a pack later in the next couple of days and weigh everything and then decide to make cuts from there. So like I said, I'm going to go to Heflin, which will be my first resupply stop. I will have an opportunity before that. There's a Dollar General along the way around mile marker 20 something. And there's also the state park, Cheehouse State Park, which is around, I think, 80 or so. And there is a little store there and a restaurant. So if I need to, I can get some food if I decide to go a little lighter. But I don't know what's available there, and I don't want to bank on that. So I'll pretty much carry food for the first part of the trip. At Heflin, I'll resupply. I'll take a 0 day, which means obviously I won't hike, and I may spend the day there recovering and resting, or I might do something like a Nero day, which for those that don't know, that's a near 0 day, or a day where you do very low mileage. So it's not a full day of walking. You might just walk a couple of miles into camp, or in this case, the town, or maybe a day where you stay over there and then you leave town later in the day and you just walk a couple of miles to a campsite. But it's definitely not a full day hiking, so it's much easier on the body, almost like a recovery day. And from there, I'll just have to go from Heflin, which, as I said, is about a mile marker 111, to Cave Spring, which is mile marker around 183, 186. So I think I can do that in another 5 to 6 days. By that time, I think I'll be in much better shape. I will have definitely lightened up a little bit. I'll be coming out of Heflin with enough food though for another week, so my pack will be heavy. So if I take it easy those days, or I do like a Nero day, which is maybe like half a day walking, because a couple of miles, that'll probably set me up to succeed. My goal is once again to travel up to the area around Wegovka, or definitely get in touch with the Pinhoti Outdoor Center, Kim and Nathan there. I've already reached out to them. They can shuttle me. I decided to drive there, so I've already rented a car. I was going to fly at one point, but I decided against it. The cost would be pretty much a little cheaper, but I would have to spend more in shuttles. So I decided with the car, it gives me a little flexibility on when I arrive and when I start hiking, and if I have to leave or come home early, I don't have to worry about a plane ticket. I can just go, and it allows me to maybe stop off somewhere else on the way home and either possibly do another trip, or maybe even meet some former coworkers that are retired now and are not that far away from Alabama, but I can drive to them within a day. So that's my tentative plan right now. It's still kind of fluid, but I'll probably drive up there and start hiking the next day, maybe even like a half day, kind of like what I was talking about with the Nero, and ease into the trail. I'm definitely planning on slowing down. I want to try to enjoy some of the views, do a little bit more video shooting, but it's really hard. When I get out there, my instinct is to go and get the mileage over in the distance. And I think I'm going to have to fight that urge so I don't injure myself again. One of the things I'm looking forward in this trip, some of the changes I make, and the reason why I look forward to doing this, it'll be cooler weather, but not necessarily cool right now. A week or two out, and the temperatures in that area are in the 80s to 70s during the day, and at night they're in the upper 50s to mid to 60s. So not necessarily cold, but definitely a little bit cooler than the summer. Fall is definitely coming in. Leaves could be changing, so I'm hoping for some cool weather, as well as some changing leaves and some good views, and I think that will make it for a more enjoyable hike. And I've also examined my gear. Like I said, I'm going to do a gear video, and I've changed some of my gear out for this trip, as well as it will be a little warmer, so I don't have to worry about taking really cold weather gear. And I'm debating about how much to bring, because obviously I'm trying to lighten up. So I may do without some of the real cold weather gear, because I just don't think I'm going to need it on this trip. In addition to that, the cold weather will help me with those stretches that I mentioned already, where water is a little scarce. If it's not really hot and humid, you can obviously hike a little better in the cooler weather than you do in the real heat of summer, where you need much more water. So that's a plus too. There is some rain in the area, hopefully predicted right before I arrive. So I hope that translates to watering opportunities for me. As I mentioned, in October, I'm hoping to do this hike. That will take me the Alabama portion, or basically the southern half of the Pinhoti Trail. And if all goes well, for next year, sometime in the spring, I'm hoping that I can get some time and hike the northern part of the Pinhoti Trail, which is all in Georgia. That's what I'm kind of planning, looking out further. And I do have a couple of hikes that I'm looking at for next year. I like to do my planning early. I like to get my research material, which are maps, guidebooks, things like that. So the earlier you start, the better it is to do that process. And it allows me to do some of my research, especially now that I seem to be taking trips that are further away. I need to either fly or do planning, line up shuttles, and sometimes even places to stay. So all these take time to do, and the early planning makes me feel better about doing it, and also allows me to have more options. So that's it for the hike that's upcoming in terms of planning and what the process is. I do plan on producing a video each day that I'm out there. First, I'll put out a equipment video, probably right before I go, and then starting with the day that I leave and drive up there, I'll put a video out each day that I'm on the trail. At least that's what I'm planning to do. And hopefully those will be coming toward the mid to end of October. So keep an eye out for those. Next, I want to do a thank you to Katadyn BeFree for their water filters and for some help they gave me. I'm going to try and explain this story as best I can. It gets a little confusing for some people. On my last trip to CNO, I took my Katadyn BeFree water filter with me. It's the one I always carry. I like it. I know a lot of people like the Sawyer Squeeze. I happen to like the BeFree. I think it's, in my opinion, it's a better product in that I have to work less to get the water and it doesn't clog as much. That's just a personal preference. I do have a Sawyer Squeeze and I think it's an okay product. I just prefer the Katadyn BeFree filter. And I notice it seems to be growing in popularity with a lot of people out on hikes in the trails. Due to what I believe is my negligence, the filter ended up getting stored for a week or two with water still in it. And to me, it had a like a mildewy taste or algae taste. So I decided, you know what, it's cheap enough. I've had the filter for 2-3 years. I'll just replace the filter. So I threw away my filter that I had and I purchased a new one, thinking that all filters are the same because they only have one filter and it works with all their product line. And that's true. However, what is different is the adapter that's on the top. If you buy a water filtration system that's a gravity fed system, you get an adapter on the end that you can connect your hose. This hose, this tubing, what my son calls the noodle. So for this to go in so that you can connect it and then control the water where it goes and fill things up, or even drink directly out of it if you choose to do so. So I didn't realize that that piece on the end of the filter is supposed to be saved. So I threw my filter away. When I received the new filter, it comes with this flip top, which is very similar to what's on sports caps, like on sports bottles and things like that, which is great. I keep spare ones in case I lose them. I like these because while you're walking, it's easy to flip the top and drink. You don't have to worry about dropping the cap or getting it dirty, losing it in the ground, and then littering or accidentally falling off. So I do like these. Also, it allows you, if you want, with a cap on it, you can use this to carry water, and I've done that several times, to just carry water in this bag. And I have a 3-liter one, so if it's really a dry stretch, I can carry up to another 3 liters of water. And a lot of times I'll do that at night. I'll fill up, I'll drink out of this, I'll use this to cook, and then I'll refill my bottles in the morning after I've drank as much as I can, so I know I've cameled up, as they say. So I have as much water as possible in me and on me before I start my hike, which allows me to go a lot further. So that was my mistake in assuming that all filters come with that nozzle. And I'll show you what the nozzle looks like because I had to go out and get a replacement. So this is what the nozzle looks like, and it goes on the end, and then the tubing connects into there. It's got a quick release, and this stops any water, so you can actually carry water like this as well. You don't need the flip top. So I thought every filter comes with this connector on it. So I threw my other filter away. Well, when I received the new filter, after I ordered it, and it came with the flip top, I realized we have a problem. I can no longer use this hose then. So I started doing some research, and I could not find this nozzle anywhere. It is not sold independently. So I reached out to Katadyn. The only way it is sold is in what's called a gravity upgrade kit. So in other words, if you have a regular kit that you didn't buy as a gravity kit, or you have a much larger bag, they sell this gravity kit, which includes the adapter for your filter and a little handle that goes on your bag, much like this little strap is, that you can hold it and fill up with it easier, makes it easier to fill it up. So this goes for a much larger bag, probably like a 5 or 10 liter bag. I don't know, because I bought it because I needed the adapter. So Katadyn was actually very great and gracious with me. They responded to my email asking me to confirm if this was the part I needed, and I explained to them that I had unfortunately assumed that when I bought a new filter that it was going to come with another adapter. I thought it was part of the filter. I didn't realize it screwed off. Not apparent to me, and I didn't do any research. Just goes to show you, you're learning something new every day. I never even thought about it. I just threw the filter away. So I asked if there was a way that I could get this part or order it separately. And the only thing that I had noticed was that, sorry, I dropped my cat. The only thing I noticed is that they have the BeFree Gravity Upgrade Kit that I was going to purchase, but I wanted to know if it was possible to get one of these by themselves. They shipped one to me, free of cost for me, including the shipping, to replace it. Now, it was clearly my my fault. So kudos to Katadyn for their customer support and backing up their product. I appreciate that greatly. Unfortunately, this story doesn't have a happy ending. It does in the long run, but not with this incident. So the package arrived. I was getting ready to go to work. I walked outside. I found the package in my mailbox from Katadyn with the part. It's extremely light and it's plastic. So it's in a small, the envelope is like, you know, way too big for this. But it was a regular small mailer, probably the smallest one they have. And only this part was in there. So I placed it on my counter. Now, I realized it was extremely lightweight and small. It felt like it was empty. I understand that. So Mrs. Drew, in an attempt to contain my ever-spreading, admittedly, sprawling of placing things on the counter, including equipment and all different miscellaneous stuff, saw the package. When she picked it up, felt it was empty, and threw it away in the garbage. I didn't realize until the following day when I went looking for the part, after I'd come home from work and then I'm looking for it the next day, I didn't realize that the part had got thrown out and had already been taken away in the trash. So I felt bad. I don't think that I could, or should I expect Katadyn to replace it a second time for what was clearly now my error twice. So I went out and I spent the $20 to buy the BeFree upgrade kit. Had to mail order it. It's not in stores. You can't find it anywhere. At least I wasn't able to. REI does have it, but they didn't carry it in stock on my store. So I ended up ordering it, receiving it from them, in like 3-4 days, and here is the part. So now I can once again decide if I want to use my gravity feed kit. I can do that, and everything is good in the world again with Katadyn and the BeFree water filter. So that's the story, but the long story that I just explained is really to say thank you to Katadyn for backing up your product and sending me a free replacement. Unfortunately for me, it didn't work out good, but that's through no fault of your own. So I want to thank them because I think that's great customer service. They could have easily said, no, sorry, you can't have it. Go out and buy the replacement part, with the kit, and that's it. And they said, like I said, customer service was great. They had it in the mail to me within 3 days or so, 4 days ago. After the email, I got an answer within 1 day, and the part was here within 3 or 4. So I think that's great customer service, and I like that. So that's going to be it for this episode. That's all I've got. Thank you so much, as always, for taking time out of your day to watch my videos. I appreciate you doing so. I realize you have a choice, and you don't have to watch these. So I appreciate that. If you feel so inclined, please leave a comment below, give a thumbs up. I love reading comments. I try to respond to every single one of them, especially if it's a comment or a question that I feel I can add to. If you have any suggestions of trails or things you'd like to see me do in the future, please, or topics to cover, please leave them in the comments below or even email me. My email is on YouTube. You can contact me at wanderingdrew50@gmail. There, now on the video too. Additionally, if you like the channel and you feel you want to, feel free to subscribe or not. Doesn't matter. Obviously, I'd like you to subscribe, but if you don't and you just want to come here and watch the videos, I thank you for doing that as well. It's not about the subscribers or anything. It's about getting the information and the videos out there and documenting what I do. So thank you so much, as always, for taking time out of your day. Take care of yourself. Be well. Till we meet again.